Are you tired of having not enough fish pictures on your page? Are you tired of your fishing buddies always having bigger fish pictures than you? Do you struggle to find fish in new areas? Do you struggle to find fish at all? Well, you may be suffering from a condition called chronic NEFPS, or not enough fish picture syndrome. The good news is there's free help available. The best part of all of it is you can do it right here, sitting at your house. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below and just sit back and relax, and I'm gonna show you the most valuable free tools you can use as a fisherman without ever leaving the comfort of your home. My name is Kevin DiMaggio. This is Salty Bottom Outdoors, and I am on my journey to become a licensed charter captain. Along the way, I decided to make some YouTube videos because I'm going fishing anyway. I need the experience, and I figured why not? Maybe it helps some people. Maybe some people enjoy it. Maybe it takes off and it's just a secondary source of income. I started this channel not only for entertainment, but I also want to help my fellow anglers become better anglers. I didn't have anybody to hold my hand and show me how to fish in the marsh. I did this by myself. I started out on a 15-foot 1976 Kingfisher crappie boat, fishing the marshes off the intercoastal completely blindly. Had no idea where I was going, no idea what I was doing, and I hated being that guy, spend 6 hours on the boat, come back to the launch with 1 or 2 fish, and watch guys cleaning 50 trout. But over the years, I've found these tools invaluable, and now I am able to go to places I've never been to before and find success, just like Dusty Fish Co. and I did in Stuart, Florida last year. Neither of us had ever fished that area, and we went to multiple places and were successful in almost every place we went. And the tools I'm about to show you, I can't put a price on, even though they're free. They made it easier for us to find fish and to fish successfully. So that's enough with the talking and the introductions. Let's get right into the video. First up, honorable mention. Okay, so I said there's 3 tools, but this one is a bit of a wild card because most people won't have any access to it. But depending on where you are or where you're fishing, you may have access to it. And if you do have access to it, it is an awesome tool. And that is Bing Maps Bird's Eye View. And basically it's drone footage that people uploaded that you can access. So, you know, satellite image only shows you so much, but this shows you bird's eye view from just a few hundred feet off the water from several different angles, and well, it's just really useful if you have access to it. So we're going to go to bing.com. And you can see I've already searched this because I went to Pensacola recently and I use this fairly often if I can. You go to Pensacola, Florida, okay? We're going to click right here on the map, make it larger, and get rid of this. Don't need that. All right, so we're just going to take an area. For example, this is the tip of Gulf Breeze. Right here in the corner, go to bird's eye view. Now, if you don't have access to this in your area, the bird's eye view will just be blanked out. You won't be able to click it. So we've got bird's eye view, and look at this, guys. Look at this. You can see a pothole right next to this dock. You can see old dock piling. You see, I would mark this spot on my GPS because there's deeper water next to structure, okay? And you've got grass in the area. So that is bird's eye view in a nutshell. I'm not going to go in depth with this because most people won't have access to it. Most of the places I go, it's not available. Check it out. If it is available, it's very useful. All right, moving right along. This one is another little bit of a wild card because if the weather isn't favorable, then it's mostly useless. This is MODIS today. MODIS is an acronym that stands for Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectroradiometer. What does all that mean? Doesn't matter. It is a satellite image of the continental United States that the University of Wisconsin posts once a day that you have free access to. Go to your Google search bar and type in MODIS today. Click on the first one. Should be the first link. This is the page you'll come to. Now I'm actually going to go back one day and I'm going to show you all this stuff. You can change the days, okay? You can also click on show available images and it shows you all the calendar pictures recently. I mean, I can go way back. Of course, there's not really any need to. You really might only need to go back a day or so. But this is an extremely valuable tool to show you where clean water is. If you fish inshore a lot, you know how valuable and critical it is to find the clean water. If the skies have been pretty clear the last couple of days, this is a extremely helpful tool to find clean water before you ever set foot on your boat. So I'm actually going to go back to a couple of days. Nice clear skies over the area I like to fish. So here we go. This is March 22nd. And you click on the section of the United States you like to fish. And we're going to go up here. There's actually two satellites, Terra and Aqua. So even if Terra, which is what it's on right now, is not showing clear, they take pictures at different times of the day. So you can click on the other one and see if the cloud cover has moved off enough for you to see it. Now you see this one was taken earlier in the day, so the cloud cover was heavier, so they blanked it out. We're going to go to Terra. This is what's going to control how close you can get. We're going to click 250M. I'm not sure what it means, don't ask, never looked into it. I just like this tool, it's super easy and super fun. We're going to scroll down to the coastline. Okay, you can see the Texas-Louisiana border there. We're going to scroll over, and then this is the area I like to fish. This is Lake Pontchartrain, this is Lake Bourne, and Mississippi Sound out here. So I fish a lot of Lake Pontchartrain, the Wrigley's, and Lake Bourne. I do fish the Biloxi Marsh from time to time. Occasionally I make it down to the Barataria Bay. And as you can see, we've had a lot of rain and wind. Lake Pontchartrain is filthy. Lake Bourne is filthy. But there are pockets of clean water. I can tell that along the North Shore, from Slidell out to Goose Point, is a little cleaner. You can see that the eastern edge of Lake Bourne has some cleaner water coming through it. You can see that the eastern edge of the Biloxi Marsh is super clean, and down towards Delacroix and all that, south of Delacroix out towards Venice is filthy, which is understandable. That's the Mississippi River outlet right there. So get on Modus. This is accessible on your cell phone. As a matter of fact, I even like it better on my cell phone because I can zoom in even closer, and it's just extremely useful. Like I said, it posts around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so if you're out on the water and you're having trouble finding clean water and it's a nice clear day, you can pull out your phone, pull it up, and be like, oh, okay, we run about 20 minutes that way, we'll run into some clean water. Make sure you bookmark that, save it on your phone, check it a couple of days before you go fishing, especially if the skies are clear. It will save you time. I promise you, it will save you time. NOAA is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric. NOAA is the National Oceanographic. NOAA. Jesus, I can't talk right now. NOAA is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And they have buoys all over the planet that show all kinds of data, and I'm going to show you how to access them. Super easy and super free. So we're going to go to our search bar, type in NOAA buoy data. This is the page you want to see, the National Data Buoy Center, okay? Once you know the name of the buoy that you use most often, I can just search Shell Beach buoy data and it pulls up. Or you can save that specific page for that specific buoy on your bookmarks, and all you have to do is drop your bookmarks down, click on the one that's closest to the area you're fishing, and you can see a lot of information. But for those that don't know about this, we're going to start from the bottom. So first you're going to click the section that you're fishing in. So we're going to go Gulf of Mexico West, okay? And it's going to be the Panhandle all the way to Texas. Then the buoy I use most often is Shell Beach. All of these buoys are accessible, even hundreds, thousands of miles offshore. Now we're going to use one of the buoys that I use all the time, Shell Beach buoy, okay? Shell Beach, Louisiana, on the south end of Lake Bourne. And that's actually a picture of the buoy. Dusty Fishco and I passed it last weekend when we were fishing. And this thing has tons of data on it that you can weed through. Now, most of you probably don't need to know most of this stuff, but you have wind speed and direction up to the minute. It's posted every 6 minutes. Every 6 minutes you can check the wind speed and direction, the air pressure. It even tells you if it's increasing or decreasing, water temperature, air temperature, and then we got some other stuff that we can go into here. And this goes It's literally almost up to the minute, guys. This is free information that you can access as long as you have a phone or a computer. This is my favorite page though, water level. We're gonna go to water level, okay? This will show you projected tides, tide changes, okay? This will show you max and minimum tide ever recorded at those locations, okay? It also shows you the average at those locations. We're gonna scroll down a little bit, and this page is, these graphs in my opinion are extremely valuable, okay? It has two lines on it. The red is the actual, the blue is the predicted, okay? The red is typically the predicted plus the change from the wind, because the wind is gonna affect the water level. Rain will too, obviously. So you can see that it has been averaging almost a foot high across the board today. It also shows you wind speed and direction. Like I said, it's almost up to the minute. It's posted every 6 minutes. You can see that the wind was quite high this morning. We had a little bit of front. And as the wind has died down, you can see that those lines are getting a little closer together. That's because the wind doesn't have as much sway on the tide anymore. It shows you which direction. You can even see, I mean, literally shows you up to the minute it switched from northeast to south, southwest. Air temperature, it shows you drops and spikes in air temperature. Water temperature, same thing, spikes and drops in water temperature. And even show you the pressure of the atmosphere. Okay, super valuable. I know with the water level 1 foot high that I can go everywhere I normally go, plus a few other places, because I don't have to worry about low water. If I go there and that red line is way below the blue line, which by the way, I love fishing super low water conditions, I know that I need to stick to main channels and bayous, and if I'm going into a new area, I need to slow down and make sure I'm not gonna wind up on a mud flat like I've done a couple times before. Anyway, if you've used an old outdated GPS, which let's face it, most of us have, then you know how handy it can be to have updated charts that show accurate depth on your GPS. But there's a way to look at the most accurate maps from Navionics for free. So what we're gonna do, go to our search bar, type in Navionics web app, okay? You're gonna click on the first link, says Navionics chart viewer. And this is what you're gonna come up with. This is the page you're gonna see. We're gonna make a couple changes to this page. So first, I'm gonna find the area that I'm fishing in, which is this area here, okay? And we're gonna change a couple things. First of all, you're gonna go down, well, let me scroll in first so you can see the difference this makes. All right, so this is the mouth of Chef Pass, or Chef Mentor Pass, into Lake Bourne. So you can see this bathymetric map, which is the underwater version of a topographical map, is not all that detailed, so we're gonna change that. We're gonna go to this little icon down here, click on it, we're gonna change the sonar charts, and look at that. Look at all those depth lines, okay? And these, I can tell you, are, at least in my area, pretty accurate. And you can see that it filled in a lot of these bayous, and it just made a way more detailed map. But that's not all we're gonna change. We're gonna go down to menu, okay? We're gonna go to map options here. We're gonna do satellite overlay, okay? And once it loads, you'll see, there we go. Satellite image overlay. This just helps you recognize where you're at. You know, I mean, the map is just blue and tan. It can be a little confusing, especially if you haven't spent a lot of time in that area. We're also gonna change the safety depth. My boat doesn't draft 60 feet. I want my safety depth at about 3 to 5 feet. And I know my boat can go in shallower than that, but like I said, these maps aren't 100% accurate. They're just pretty close. So safety depth set at 3 feet. What that's gonna do is everything white is over 3 feet. Everything blue is either under 3 feet or has not been mapped. And we're gonna close the menu out. So I'm gonna click right there. And this is super helpful in new areas. You can see where drop-offs and ledges are. You can see where potholes are. Let's see, let me find a good spot. So this is an area that I fished recently. This is in the Biloxi Marsh, and you can see Now, like I said, not every single one is going to be mapped, and that doesn't mean that these bayous aren't navigable. That just means take your time and don't wind up stuck on a mudflat. But the major bayous, the major waterways are all mapped. You can see that these areas have deeper holes in them. Now, it may or may not be 20 feet. There may have been a hurricane that blew through since the last time this map was updated. But chances are that water is going to be deeper in that bend than the rest of the areas. They're fairly accurate. I can tell you that from personal experience. All right, so that's pretty much Navionics web app in a nutshell. It is a recently updated map from your GPS that you can access on your phone or on your computer. On days like today when the weather isn't favorable and I'm not going out, I can do research. Now, y'all know that I saved the best for last. This is my favorite app. I have spent countless hours staring at this app, and that is Google Earth Pro. Time out. You can't access this on your phone, and you can't just go to Google and look at the map. It's completely different. You have to download it onto your computer. It's completely free. So, go to Google, type in Google Earth Pro, enter. You're gonna get this one. Go to Earth Visions, Google Earth, all right? Travel the world without leaving your seat. Google Earth Pro on the desktop is the one you want. You'll click on that, follow the instructions, download it to your desktop. It doesn't take very long. Once you get it downloaded, when you open it up, this is the screen you're gonna see, okay? So first thing we're gonna do, zoom in on the area I'm fishing. All right, so this is Lake Bourne, once again, one of my favorite places to fish. And these are quite detailed satellite images. Now, you have to pay attention to this spot right here. That says this picture was taken in 2019. That's fine. They're always gonna have the most clear, best quality picture posted for that area, okay? You go to a different area, it might show 2021, you go to another area, it might say 2014. But that's the best thing. I can look at satellite images from the past. So this little icon right here with the little clock, the backwards arrow on it, click on it. It's automatically gonna take you to the most recent image right there, 3/23. So that was March of last year, a year almost to the day. All right, and you can see why this is not used as the main one. It is filthy, but this is good because I can now see that on a falling tide with dirty water pouring out of Lake Pontchartrain, there's clean water on this shoreline. And I fish this shoreline, well, I used to. They're doing a lot of marsh restoration here, which you can actually see on the satellite image. There's a ton of airboats and dredges and all kinds of stuff, but you can see that this water stays significantly cleaner than the intercoastal and stuff like that. So you can just move right outside and you will probably find some cleaner water. That is one of the best things about it. If you're fishing an incoming tide, you can just scroll back through the images until you find an image that shows an incoming tide. So this image shows water pouring through Chef Pass into the Wrigley's, all right? And you can see how this water travels. It comes in through here, swirls a little bit in front of Iris Bayou, and then rips around this point into Lake Pontchartrain. So I know that on the incoming tide, I'm not gonna fish right here in the middle where all this water's pouring through here super fast. I'm gonna fish on the backside of this point or the backside of this point where the fish are gonna hide from the current waiting for bait to be swept past them. You can see the same thing with Unknown Pass. You can see the water pours into Lake St. Catherine. Okay, so another super helpful thing about Google Earth Pro is it's gonna help me navigate the shallower waters of the marshes of Louisiana. I'm starving. I'm stuck in my head all day. Let it breathe, then I'm back in it. This is an area in the Biloxi Marsh. This is called the Lakes of Bayou Marone, okay? And if you don't know the way, you're gonna have to go all the way around the northern tip of the Biloxi Marsh, through 9 Mile Pass, through False Mouth Cove, and into Lakes of Bayou Marone. But there is a shortcut. and that's through this bayou right here. But this bayou can get very shallow. Peanut butter cracker. Okay, but this bayou can get very shallow. What we're gonna do is we're gonna turn back time, and we're gonna go back to 2014, November 2014. So we can clearly see this bayou is pretty deep. It's got some shallow flats on it. All right, and when you hook a left, go into this bayou, and you can see that it is shallow on both sides, but there is a spot to cross. I've been across this in 24-foot bay boats. I know that it stays deep enough if you stay in the right spot. But you can see, even on satellite images, when people have gotten off of the track, or prop scars are. This is somebody got up on the mud flat on a plane and drug their motor in the mud. And if you look very closely, there's actually markers here. You see that prop scar on that flat? Somebody went off that way and realized they screwed up and turned around. And there's actually markers here. If you turn into this bayou, there are poles marking the channel, and if you stick right next to those poles, you'll be perfectly fine until you get across. All right, so one more example. See this big duck pond right here? High and dry, right? That's it on a normal day. That's it on high tide, high water, okay? It has got deeper water on it with plenty of grass, and you get back to the low water. You get back to the low water, and these fish have nowhere to go. So all the redfish that might have been up on these flats, up in this grass in that real shallow water, chasing crabs and bait, get sucked off of these flats and into these bayous, okay? That's why I love fishing that low water. It's just, it makes it easy. And it's like shooting fish in a barrel. You just pick them off. So there is another thing that I like to use to judge about how long it's going to take me to travel to a new spot. So in the summertime, I love fishing the north end of the Biloxi Marsh, especially for topwater. I've had a lot of success out there for the topwater bite, and if you need to plan how long it's going to take you to get to a spot, so let's just take this Falsemouth Bay. We're going to take Falsemouth Cove, which is right here, which I used to fish a lot, haven't fished in a long time. But I want to know how long it's going to take me to get there. So we're going to launch out of Wrigley's Marina and see how long it'll take me. I know that a comfortable, easy cruising speed on my boat is 30 miles an hour. Obviously, I can go faster than that, and of course, I can't go slower than that. But average, I like to cruise. It's very comfortable to cruise around 28 to 30 miles an hour. So we're just going to take an average of 30. You click on the show ruler part. Click. We're going to switch this to a path. I'm going to change it to miles. And move that up out the way. And every time you click, it's going to make a waypoint. It's going to make a waypoint all the way through the Wrigley's. Make a beeline to the north end of Biloxi Marsh. Going to turn into 9 Mile Bay. Cut through Bay Boudreaux. Excuse me. You can cut across Falsemouth Bay to Falsemouth Cove. 26 miles. So I know that if I stay at 30 miles an hour, it's going to take me about 50 minutes, give or take, to get from the Wrigley's Marina to my first fishing destination. So if I want to be there for topwater and the sun rises at 6 o'clock, I know that I need to be on a plane no later than 5. Obviously, I'm going to give myself a little more time just in case the water's a little rough and I have to slow down or something like that. That is very, very, very handy to help plan your fishing trip. Another way to use the turn back time feature is actually kind of sad because it shows you just how bad coastal erosion is in Louisiana. But if you're like me, you started as a visual fisherman, or what a lot of bass fishermen I know call bank beaters. You're going to focus on what you can see above the water, you know, shorelines, islands, stuff like that, grass lines that you can see. above the water. And there's stuff that I missed for years underneath the water because I didn't know it was there. I didn't know how to look for it, or I just blew right past it on a plane, never even thought to look at it. There is a way you can see some of these places before they disappeared. So I can turn back time to before something disappeared because of coastal erosion. Now, just because an oil rig has been removed or an island has been split in half and half of it's completely gone to the naked eye doesn't mean there's not still structure there. That island might have sunk underneath the waves, but it's still probably taller than the rest of the area around it, and fish are going to use it as an ambush point. When they remove those oil and gas rigs, the shell pad that protects the footing is left there, and it's usually, you know, it might only be 6 inches above the rest of the bottom, it might be 2 feet above the rest of the bottom, but it is hard bottom surrounded by mud. It's places for bait fish, shrimp, and crabs to hide, and predators are gonna gravitate to these areas because it is something different in an otherwise barren stretch of bottom. So how you can find some of these areas, we're going to zoom in. This is called Comfort Island, okay? This is on the eastern edge of the Biloxi Marsh. That's literally one of the last things you hit before you get out to the Chandelier Islands. And it's a very popular fishing destination, especially in the summertime. It is way out there, it's a long run, but the big trout and big redfish can get stacked up on some of these points. We're going to go to the turn back time. I'm going to show you just how bad coastal erosion was. This is the most recent image of Comfort Island. Well, that's not. I guess it is, actually. Yeah. So this is the most recent image of Comfort Island. 2020, okay? This little spit of land way out in the middle of nowhere. We're going to turn back to before Hurricane Katrina, which was 2005. So this is Comfort Island in 2004. You can see there's a gas rig or oil rig set up over here. And you can see how much of this is, especially this end of the island. Focus on this end of the island. We're going to go back to modern day. You see how much has been lost to coastal erosion, and if you'll notice that oil rig is no longer there, like I said, chances are that shell pad is still there. So we're going to go back. You can actually go back and you see where they did some, they tried to save it. Didn't work. So look at how much has gone, but all this is still there. It's just underwater. So there's still a drop off right here. You just can't see it. You have to use your electronics. And this oil rig, the shell pad is probably still there. You just have to use your electronics to find it. But there's a way to cheat. And that brings us to the last feature that I'm going to talk about on Google Earth Pro. I know this has been a longer video. Hopefully you're still sticking around at this point because there's a lot of information in it. And you can turn this information into successful fishing trips. You spend the time to learn it. So to save a waypoint and transfer it to the GPS on your boat, so you can, before you ever leave Hopedale Marina to head out to Comfort Island to try to get on some monster trout in the summertime, you already have GPS waypoint saved for the oil rig and the drop off where the island used to be. It's very simple. We're going to go up here to this little thumbtack looking thing. Click on it, that's add place mark. Alright, I'm going to drop a place mark right there on that point. Alright, that's got GPS coordinates for the point off of the southwest end of Comfort Island. So we're going to go Comfort Island. I'm going to put S for south. It's going to show me the southwest. Why are you doing this to me? There we go. Alright. I'm going to save that. I'm going to put another one. I want to drop it right in the center of this oil rig. Alright. Comfort Island rig. Cool. Alright, so I've got these 2 points saved, and you can save an almost infinite number of waypoints. As much as your SD card will hold, as much as your GPS can hold, you can save that many waypoints. So what we're going to do here, save place as Waypoints LA. We need to change this to a .kml, okay? I'm gonna change this to my desktop for now, just because it'll be easier for me to find. We're gonna click save. Once it's saved, you need to go open your browser and this web page, KML2GPX. Your fish finder, depth finder, GPS uses .gpx files. You can only save Google Earth Pro files in .kml. So what you're gonna do, make sure that says KML to GPX, choose file, desktop, Waypoints LA, upload, Waypoints, convert, okay? Now we're gonna click download new file here. Click, wait for the ad. Click allow, right up here in your downloads. So there we go, it is saved. This is gonna be saved in my folder under downloads. There we go. So now you can take this file. I have my one and only SD card that I have here in my GoPro right now recording this, so I can't. But your GoPro will be saved, your SD card will be right over here in locations, and you click this and transfer it over to your SD card and you save it. And once you save it, you can pull your SD card out and put it into your GPS, and boom, you already have your waypoints for Comfort Island Point and Comfort Island Rig saved in your GPS, ready to roll before you ever even leave the launch. Alright y'all, that's it for this episode of Salty Bottom Outdoors. If you stuck around this long, then chances are you have NEFPS, but now you have the treatment. So take what you've learned here and turn it into fishing pictures that'll make your buddies jealous. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button down below, and make sure you share it with your fishing buddy and say, hey, you're a horrible fisherman, but this will make you better. They probably won't listen to you. You know who you are. Thanks for sticking around. Once again, my name is Kevin for Salty Bottom Outdoors. I will see y'all next time. Well, not right here, on the boat. See y'all then.